Hello everybody, welcome to the penultimate round of the OGRL Coffee Cup here from Road Atlanta. It's a shorter 6-race season here this time around in Season 3. Next week is our final one, the 1st of June at Mugello. But tonight it is, or this afternoon rather, it is Road Atlanta, and indeed a good circuit to go multi-class racing at. We've got LMP2s and GT3s both on the grid, and we're just about ready to go. Myself, Ewan, and James Parfitt with you. Just under 10 minutes to go in qualifying, and in this occasion, Alfie Nichols this time round. So in LMP2, someone else might have a chance of winning for once.
Yeah, maybe. You never quite know, do you, what's going to happen? We are in qualifying here as well, so these guys are out on track doing their qualifying at the moment. Nick Marshall leading the way, which is quite interesting. Oh, no, he's not. He's stopped. So there we go. Also got Hayden Young has brought out the Mustang for this one. He did pop in a little bit earlier on and say he was driving it. Just hopes he can keep it in a straight line.
Yeah, we've already done a race at Road Atlanta in GT3s this morning, and it was a pretty difficult car on cold tyres, as we were talking about in that broadcast, and so the start of the race is going to be what Young will be worried about most, and he doesn't have anybody else in a Mustang to sort of mark himself against, if you like. He's just going to be he's just going to go as fast as he'll go, and he'll just be a little bit concerned about that start of the race, I feel, especially with so many other manufacturers around him. He's got McLaren and Lamborghini who've already set times. Tim Probert actually goes a little bit quicker, as you can see there, but Cody Bont's in a Porsche, Michael Dion is in a Acura as well. So there's plenty of other manufacturers on the grid, and if the Mustang really is bad on cold tyres compared to the others, then he could be in trouble early on in the lap.
Yeah, we're going to find out how he can get on here, whether or not he can make this work or what the situation will be. We're going to find out. I think the fact there's no Alfie Nichols, it gives somebody a chance, somebody else to have a chance and take the win. Maybe David Van Rooij has got to look at getting times on the board first. That would be handy. We are still early on in qualifying. We've still got halfway through, so 7.5 minutes to go. So he should be able to get a time in the car on the board then.
See, as we get on with this session. It looked like Carlson set his first sector there that was good enough to be up towards the front, but then had an incident down here through the S's. We've seen David Van Rooij be very strong so far this season, so you imagine that this time he's going to be very, very close to pole, if not absolutely on it. He's just giving it a little bit of time before heading out onto the circuit and giving this a go. Obviously, it's going to be greens across the board, but no purples yet in the first half of the lap.
No, nothing yet. Obviously, he's got to set his personal best. This is his first timed lap, so we will have time to do one more after this anyway. We're going to find out how they get on. I think it's going to be interesting down here, because on this run down from 7 to 10, obviously they're going to be topping, I think it's probably north of 155, maybe 160 miles an hour down here. So it'd be interesting to see how they can control this under draft. Probably, what's he running, 165 on his own, maybe 170 in the draft. So there's going to be a lot of pace for these guys to have here in the LMP2s, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how a couple of them get on. If they can stop Van Rooij, well, they're going to be definitely on a bit of a mission. He's got a purple in the final sector. He's going to go pole position, 114.3, 2 tenths ahead.
There's nothing that anybody else can do about it, so David Van Rooij should be on pole here, but he's still got a couple of laps left to go. Michael Dion has got a lap to go as well, so we'll follow him here. Oh, no, much.
No, we won't.
I was too busy looking at the timing screen, didn't see that he stopped on the circuit, so I was about to say he might go pretty well here, because at the moment he's only half a tenth off pole, but he's going to stay there by the looks of things. That's his third lap and it's gone wrong.
Yeah, it has, unfortunately. But jumped on board with Bradley Tidwell, of course, in the Lamborghini. His mum did the fun mum race last time out and finished third in both times, did his mum. So fair play to her there. It was a good fun event. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it back from last week. But see how Brad can get on here as he just comes out of 7.
Yep, onto the long back straight. Roy going quicker again, by the way. He's going to absolutely monster this qualifying session by the looks of things to me. Purple in the second sector, which he didn't manage first time round. So you already know this is going to be a frighteningly good lap time from David Van Roy, but what about Tidwell? Not going any quicker than himself even on this occasion, and this is 4th lap as well, so if we've still got the same rules as what we had before, about only 3 laps in a session, then he's not going to get it, and he's not going to go on the line anyway. 14.0 for Van Roy, he goes even faster. What about Cody Bont? He's only on his 1st lap right now, and he will get them all in as well, so a chance for us to look at a GT3 go through a lap here, and he's still warming his tyres up on lap number 2.
Yeah, he still is at the moment. We'll have to see how he gets on and whether or not he's going to be able to set a time in that Porsche. Of course, does suit the Porsche track, the twiddly bits, but that long straightaway doesn't lend to the Porsche's top end, so it's going to be into see how he gets on here and whether or not he can hold it.
With the final corner, Cody Bont very much setting a early, not a benchmark, but just a time. Might not even have counted, actually. No, it didn't. So through he would go, and into the first sector once again here. Again, in the only Porsche on this in this field, and it's not a bad car to have around here. Not too many long straights to really get eaten up on here in the Porsche, which is exactly what you want, but not the best circuit in the world either that this car would enjoy. Quite far over the curb on the inside there of turn 5, which doesn't always go well, but he's got away with it that time. Personal best this time round. I think it probably is going to be personal best all time round, as Van Roy ends the session, by the way, with a 13.6, nearly a second clear of the field.
Yeah, I can't see anybody stopping him, unfortunately, for David Van Roy. I think he's going to motor away on this one. He'll be watching down in the GT3s how Probert, Dion and Young are going to get on together. Cody there has got greens in the section. In the first and second sector, sorry. Bradley Tidwell not really improving over the last 3.
No, and nor is it going to count anyway. Tidwell jumps back to pit lane, and so one more lap after this one for Cody Bont. Someone's been in the gravel all over the place, as you can see. Where is Bont going to get to, though? 13.6 is not the time he's aiming for. 18.8 is a bit more like it, and he's going to be about half a second away from that. That's not bad. Might be, just in behind Hayden Young, actually, and that'll be the end of that for Cody Bont. He might have just got off the circuit there, right at the very end and the start of the next lap, so that is going to be it for Cody Bont. He is going to jump back to pit lane, and he's going to start this race from 4th position.
Yeah, he is at the moment. Not a bad spot, to be blatantly honest with you. Bradley Tidwell still out in the race chat. We've got Connor Pink in YouTube chat, and Heath Ollinger. Bummed I am missing the race today for good reason. My son and I are in Charlotte for the Coke 600, potentially meeting up with Bradley Lovins, Clark Williams from the OGRL at the track. Good luck, boys. As well, he says, of course, the Coke 600 NASCAR event that's taking place this weekend.
This, as is the Monaco Grand Prix and the Indy 500. It's the best weekend in motorsport.
Yeah, maybe it's be the 600, then the Indy, and then Monaco at the end.
You prefer Coke 600 over Indy 500?
Yeah.
Ooh, controversial there.
No, I don't know. I don't know. You know, Monaco definitely at the bottom, regardless.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
no
absolutely.
That.
But I think I prefer the 600 over Indy. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should go Indy over. I don't know. I think still the Coke 600.
One of the things is it possible to do both this year? Starting at quarter to 1, Indy 500 might take a few hours. 600 starts at 6:30 Eastern. Is that enough time? Maybe not. I don't know. It's about 5 and 3/4 hours. So I don't know if there's enough time to do the Indy 500, then fly to Charlotte, and then do the Coke 600 as well. I don't know if anybody's doing it this year, but or whether Carl Larson's just missing the 600, because I don't even know if he's on the start list for the Indy 500. To be honest with you, I don't.
Who are you looking for? Let's have a Google. Is Carl Larson doing Indy?
He is, yeah.
He is, yeah, and then flying. Yeah, he is. He's doing both. Competing at Indy and in the NASCAR Coke 600 in Charlotte.
He is, or he isn't?
He is, yeah, on the same day.
Oh, crikey. Okay. Oh, he is. Heath just says yes as well, so I'll believe that more.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Over me reading Google, which literally said yes.
No, mainly because Heath is actually there.
Oh, okay, that's understandable.
But
Carl Larson's obviously not there at the moment.
No, no, he's not. I wonder if he's got a driver on standby there, just in case he's not back in time to do the first few laps, and then he gets into the car, do a driver change, because I know you can do that in NASCAR. But,
yeah, I don't know.
but probably not. He's probably aiming to be back in time. We'll find out though. No, I'm looking forward to it a little bit later on. Finishes right when the football finishes, so it's a perfect afternoon.
Nice.
Yes, so there we go. We'll see how that goes a little bit later, as Tidwell's just practicing a pit lane entry and a pit exit there through the middle. It's actually a very difficult pit entry to get onto, so can't blame him. But that's the end of that session. Now we've got 5 minutes of warm-up or so for the race, but David Van Rooij has taken the pole in LMP2 and Trim Probert has taken it in GT3. No surprises there. I think the fact that Hayden Young is a couple of positions behind Probert might be a bit more of a surprise, because in practice I think Hayden Young has the fastest time.
Yes, I think he does, but in qualifying Probert got him. So we'll find out whether or not Probert can hold on to that. He's normally pretty good like that, so we're going to keep an eye on it.
He's normally pretty good, but last week he came through the field, didn't he, very quickly indeed, and was in second place within 15 minutes. But he couldn't get past Hayden Young. He's not giving him the head start this time round, though, which is interesting. Even though Young's in an unfamiliar car, Probert not wanting to give him quite the head start that he was given last week.
No, I think Probert's got to go for it. We all want to see him out there giving a good old run. So hopefully he'll, go for it from the very beginning, and we can see these two having a nice little scrap.
I think they will do, as we do and take on the warm-up session here. I was getting back out there onto the circuit again, feeling what it's like to have other people around them again because of that private qualifying session. 9 of the drivers currently making their way around as things stand, but they are going to feel pretty spaced out. One of the big differences, though, from last week, as you can see, some of the train of LMP2s starting to negotiate some of these GT3s for the first time. One of the big differences around this circuit is that they are actually going to have more traffic to deal with this week than they had at Spa. It's a much shorter circuit, and I know that means the time difference between the best time in LMP2 and the best time in GT3, for example, is a lot less. That is true, but it is also a shorter circuit which you'll be lapped more, so probably a busier day for the LMP2s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be within sort of 3-4 laps maybe. They'll start going past the GT3s, so that's going to be an interesting one. See how they can handle that. The question for the LMP2s is really, in hindsight, without disrespecting anybody, will be who's going to be second to David Van Rooij, because I think Van Rooij is looking far too quick at this moment in time.
Well, yeah, let's see. It's possible. That could be the case, but I don't know, just for the moment. We will see what happens here in this one, as Nicholas Marshall makes his way down the back straight in towards the far chicane. I don't think it's going to be after 3 or 4 laps, by the way, that they're going to get lap traffic. I think it could be a bit more than that, but either way, it's not going to be very long until we see traffic for the first time, and actually that really gave Alfie Nichols the springboard last week. So I wonder whether David Van Rooij is going to be in a similar situation this time. He was the chaser to Alfie Nichols last time. Van Rooij will be chased, I would imagine, but I wonder whether one of those other three are going to stay with him early on in that race, and then maybe through the traffic that decisive moment will come where finally he can break the slipstream and get away properly.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the thing. Who do you think is going to be able to stay with him though? Is it going to be Marshall, Bailey? Maybe might be the quickest ones out the LMP2s, but other than that, I'm not really sure who else would be with him alongside him.
I think they've got a decent chance. I mean, I saw Scott Carlson, by the way, in the first sector, set a purple sector on that final lap before he crashed, so he's clearly got some decent speed. And I'm not sure whether Van Rooij went and beat that afterwards, because Van Rooij hadn't set any times at the time. However, I think Carlson could be a little bit of a surprise prospect here today. We're keeping with Van Rooij, but the problem again is going to be he starts from 4th place. Van Rooij with a 2-place head start is going to be he's going to stay ahead of him, I would imagine, in that early point of the race, and he might even keep a couple of cars between the two of them actually.
Yeah, maybe. I think for Van Rooij, he knows what he's got to do. He's got to make it through traffic. Okay, so that's the big thing. He's got to make it through. Marshall, if he's going to try and stay with him, has got to go with him at exactly the same time. Now, this is where the difference is between Venroy and Marshall. Is obviously, one is that you can't be doing that, but the second is the aggression on the overtakes. And if Marshall doesn't go with Venroy, then Venroy's just going to motor away, and then it'll be a battle of Bailey and Carlson, whether or not they're going to be able to stay with each other. Otherwise, this LMP2 field could be quite spread out here.
Yeah, it very much could. We have seen that this season, in fairness. Lots of big gaps in LMP2. GT3 has been where we've seen a lot of the racing this season, so hopefully that is going to be the case again as the warm-up session comes to a close, and the race will be soon underway after the gridding process here in a few moments' time. Might well be a full formation lap to do with, first of all, though, as they do end the session properly, and will bring themselves towards the race of the day. It's going to be David Venroy who takes the pole position ahead of Nicholas Marshall, nearly a second. The gap there. William Bailey and Scott Carlson will be on row 2. Then you get to the GT3s, headed by Tim Provo with Michael Dion alongside. Hayden Young and Cody Bont are on the next row ahead of Brad Tidwell and Pernod Hanna, with Mark Ossier at the back end of the field. So there's your grid, and there's Venroy on the inside line, and he will lead the field away. You'd imagine he'll lead the early laps as well, but just what kind of a race is he going to have here, and how easy is he going to find this? You could well be in for a slightly difficult day as far as staying in front, as far as winning this race goes.
I think for Venroy, it's just going to be really lonely. I think I mean no disrespect, unless to anybody else in the race. I'm sorry, I really don't, and I mean this with the bottom of my heart. You're all quick guys, but I think Venroy is just a little bit more. I think Marshall, Bailey, and Carlson could have a great race between the three of them, but I got a funny feeling Venroy's going to be, shopping almost. But it looks like Probert and Young have either agreed to go back to pit lane and start from the back and make it interesting for them, or I can't see them both having problems. So I think they've both agreed to go back to pit lane and start from the back of the field.
I think they have, and that is
why not?
That is very interesting.
I think they're trying
I don't
to make,
blame them.
No, I think they're trying to make it exciting. We've got low numbers at the moment, which is really bizarre for this series, considering we're used to 40 plus GT3s. I know the LMP2s have got into it, but we've still got GT3s, so it would have been nice to be able to get a bit more than what we've got at the moment. But maybe they are just giving themselves a little bit of an excitement to do. I do worry for them though, because Tidwell on his day can be quite quick in that Lamborghini. So if he can get away up front and do a good old run here, Bradley Tidwell, we could be on for winning this race. No offence to Michael Dion in the Acura there. I'm sure Dion was in the Mustang, wasn't he, or has he changed cars?
It's entirely possible they've all changed cars at some point here, to be honest.
I know Tidwell just lives in the Lambo and Bont in the McLaren, in the Porsche, sorry. But I'm sure Dion was in a Mustang, green one.
To be honest, I don't know if... I can't remember seeing him in Season 3, actually. I obviously saw him a lot in Season 2. I don't know if we've seen him in Season 3, actually, but maybe we have, I don't know. It's a bit of a mystery to me. I don't know, but yeah.
We sleep, don't we, Mr. O'Leary, and we forget by the time we wake up.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's so I don't know, but we'll try and find out. Marc Ossier also, I'm not sure whether he's starting from the pit lane or not starting at all here, because he did qualify and now he's not on the grid either.
No, it doesn't look like he's starting at all here. I'll go and do some investigatory work and find out if I can figure out what is wrong with him.
Nice way to put it.
Well, something's wrong with him, clearly.
Well, maybe. It's a bit of a weird way it's worked, by the way, in GT3. So Tidwell's on his own row on the other, on one side of the road, on the outside or inside. I think he's on the inside. And Dion, Bont, and Hanno are effectively lined up behind one another. You can see Hanno sort of gesturing to the other side of the road, as if to say, "What the hell am I being stuck all the way back here?" But anyway, we're about to get underway for the first and only race of the day, of course. 75 minutes as always in the OGRL Coffee Cup here for Season 3. It's time to go racing here from Road Atlanta, and Ben Roy gave it a very long time waiting there, and that might not have been the best idea. Here comes William Bailey down the inside, but he's not going to fully go through with it on the inside line. Nicholas Marshall will stay in third ahead of Scott Carlson. Then it's Michael Dion who leads in GT3 right behind these LMP2s. Look at this. It's a cold start for those LMP2s on those cold tyres. And Michael Dion is almost tripping over them down the hill.
I'm a little bit worried here. This could go a little bit Pete Tong for Michael Dion. And I mean that in a good way. The LMP2s, obviously, since the tyre model we know have gone and taken a while to get their tyres heated up, and then I expect them to motor away. But for Michael Dion to be that close going down through the S's of turn 4, anything was going to happen. Marc Ossier's jumped back into pit lane, left pit lane, jumped back to pit lane. So unless he's got some technical problems here, but I think it's going to be now who's going to be able to stay with the LMP2s. The LMP2s are probably going to go and motor away at the moment and leave these GT3s to dust. They'd be even better, obviously, with the new GT3 changes that are coming in, whether or not that's going to make an effect as well. GT3s are getting a new tyre model soon, so it won't be like that for long, boys. Yeah, I know.
We will, we will talk about that a little bit later on with when this race just calms down. But William Bailey has taken the lead here at the end of lap number 1, and I told you Dave Van Roy was going to have a bit more of a challenge here this afternoon. Well, Bailey has made sure that it's true. He's come through on the inside on the way towards that final chicane. He's ahead of Van Roy now, and that is a very good start indeed for him. Over the line for Young and Probert, by the way. They are racing. Marc Ossier has had some technical problems early on, and he is now back in the race, but he's quite a long way back as far as I can see. He's not over the line yet. He's not finished his first lap, so he's still yet to get going. There he is, Marc Ossier, a long way at the back end of the field, unfortunately for him, but at least he's in the race.
Yeah, at least he's there, that's fine. William Bailey and Ben Roy there. We're going to fight up front on this one. Be interested to see how they get on. Cody Bont has unfortunately been off the side of the circuit.
He has indeed. And that Porsche through turn 5. Where else would it be? A little bit wide through the first part, up into the gravel. That's when you know you're a bit too wide. Oh, and he's slammed that wall.
Wow. No bonnet, no bumper. All gone for Cody Bont. Straight back to pit lane. Bailey leading the race with Van Roy sitting in second at the moment. Marshall in third. Young and Probert, they're showing us a lap down at the moment. I don't think that's 100% correct. It will correct itself, I'm sure. But you can see these guys motoring away at the way.
Yeah, it will. They've not made any positions anyway here, the two of them, so they'll be fine. They won't be making places just for the moment. But there you go. They are now back in the intervals, as they should be. But Michael Dion is leading, and that's going to be the real one to chase down for those two, isn't it, really? It's going to be fine for the others, I think, based on the classes that we had in Season 2. You just assume that they are going to be able to chase them down, but not sure about Dion at the front. That's going to be interesting to see whether he gets there.
Yeah, whether or not he's going to be able to hold it here. We've got Hayden Young with Panel Hanalay at the moment. Depends if Panel puts up a fight here, or he's just going to allow Hayden Young to go through. I think it'll be interesting to see what he can do here. You want to really see some defense out of him, but unfortunately, I don't know how much he's going to be able to give here.
Yeah, or indeed how much it would be worth in the end, and how much that would actually achieve. It's difficult to tell, but there you go, down the straight. He's going to be straight through here, is Hayden Young. He has got ahead of Probert initially, though, so I think that's just the way they came out the pit lane. So that's going to be one to see if that gets reversed a little bit later. Late braking on the outside line. Hayden Young moves through into 7th position ahead of Hanno, and then you've got Probert, who is down to 9th, but surely he's going to be getting through on his fellow McLaren as well soon. You can see it from both sides for Hanno. You know, you do, especially as a spectator, you want to see him fight back, but actually you just wonder how much is it actually worth it for him, and that's what he'll be thinking about in the car.
Yeah, have a go. Have a go. You're never going to know where you are at without battling away with people, and unfortunately, Probert's gone through, so that's the end of that. Bailey's under attack from Van Roy.
And this is going to remain very, very close for the remainder of the day by the looks of things here between Bailey, Venroy and Marshall as well. The only driver I predicted to get past Venroy is nowhere near the others, so it's not gone well. Here comes Venroy. He's just going to dip towards 2 tenths behind, but straight line speed not quite as strong as it needs to be. Nowhere near on the way into the braking zone at the chicane. Look at that. Venroy not able to get past, and that's going to start to sow some seeds of doubt about how actually quick he is in a straight line and whether that's going to really hamper him throughout this race.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't cleared him, to be blatantly honest. A 1:14.699 for Nick Marshall. Carlson's dropping back a little bit. Oh!
Got away with it. Oh my word. And he's still getting away with it. Oh my word. It's going to be the biggest slowdown he's ever had.
Yeah, absolutely. He comes out still in front of Venroy. Don't do it there, dude. Oh, he's trying to take it off on the racing line. You can see that as well. Unless he goes and peels it over now. Venroy's going to tuck in one behind him. But William Bailey, surely going to have more to come off. And when's he going to be able to get it off?
I think he might have done it. He certainly did slow down a bit on the racing line there through the S's, and you're not meant to do that at all. But I think he's done it here. You'd certainly do it before the straight, because, or maybe you wouldn't, because you're always going to be passed anyway. He's going to be getting on for 30 seconds, though, since he did the mistake. So it's there is a time limit these days on when you can serve your penalty. But look at that. I think Bailey's got less downforce on here for some reason than Venroy. And in a straight line, Venroy is just not getting anywhere. And that's what hampered him on the first lap of the race. When everyone was so close together, Venroy didn't have the straight line speed to defend.
No, he didn't. And now he hasn't got the straight line speed by the looks of it to get past him, which is very unusual here as well, because I would have thought he just would have motored straight up and gone straight past him. And job done for David Venroy. Maybe I didn't do Bailey or Marshall justice here.
Maybe not. Well, I didn't either, because I said Carlson would be the one to challenge Venroy, and look at what's happened now. Only 5 seconds behind. So it's it's good driving so far from these two, but it's just again, especially in the 75-minute race as opposed to the 55 that we had before, it's going to be a case of consistency here, and it's all well and doing this for the start of the race, but what about later on?
Yeah, and they've still got 67 minutes on the clock, so they've still got a long old while before they even think about doing anything here as well. Don't forget pit stops are going to be involved in this as well, so that's going to be an interesting one. But this is where I would expect Venroy now to go and get this job done.
See, in towards the chicane, whether he is going to manage it or not. No, brakes earlier. Oh, he brakes, well, he initially sort of let off and brake earlier, then he broke it where he was actually going to, nearly ran into the back of him, because you can brake so much later if you got that little bit more downforce on. And Venroy was very nearly falling afoul of that on the way down into the chicane.
He's lifting well early. He's fuel saving his head off here.
That's why he's just sat behind it.
Yeah. He's not even doing it at certain points. Yeah, it does look like he's lifting off quite early. We'll see him going down into this straight. Again,
through the S's, he's just gained so much time, and then loses it again once they get onto the straights. So this is going to be a problem for Venroy, but he is as close as ever this time round. Now watch this on board. He is just going to see William Bailey get further and further up into the distance here with the difference in straight line speed. He's realised that overtaking on circuit might not be possible, so he's got to do the fuel game instead.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just listening to see what he was going to do into 10A and 10B. Oh, he's just made it and done it for him. It's great off the side of the circuit for Bailey, and still off the side of the circuit for Bailey. He's got to come back on. Something's happened to Scott Carlson here. This does not... Oh, he's going to go round coming out of 7, isn't he? Yep. Pins on his way round. There we go. Too much, too quick.
Yep, and there you go. He is now a long way further behind. That's Marc Ossier as well, by the way. So Bailey has not only been caught up in that running wide moment through the chicane, He has also just, got stuck behind Marc Ossier there through the worst possible moment. Not even into the traffic properly yet, and we've got a lot of, a big gap, 3.5 seconds there between front two and then back to Bailey. Now, what's the gap between Marshall and Van Roy in terms of straight line speed here and in terms of using the slipstream? Marshall very much gaining as a result here on the way down into the chicane, but is he going to make the move? He has a look. Oh, and he's going for it. I'm not sure if he meant to, but that's a very well executed braking manoeuvre. In the end, he's not going to have it on the exit because he's gone in too deep, but that was actually pretty impressive to begin with.
Yeah, it was. The door was open and Van Roy seemed to just lift very, very early. And because obviously we think he is fuel saving, and then Marshall took an opportunity of it, then went in too hot, and then basically Van Roy came back at him again. And this is where now either Van Roy's going to sit back and go, I've saved enough and I'm going to bolt, or he's going to still continue to save and allow Marshall to close in on him.
And let's see, look at this, just getting closer and closer and closer. But at a certain point, yeah, there you go, Van Roy quicker through turn 5 and quicker on the way through towards 6 and 7. And there you go. He might just break the second margin now as well, and that's going to be a there you go. Marshall no longer in the slipstream, and I think that might be the last part we see or the last time anybody else anyway sees Van Roy.
Mm-hmm. I think so. It's still coming in, mind you. It is coming down. This is where Van Roy seems to lift very, very early, and the gap comes in. Well, maybe not now. He's had enough, and he's just going on his bike, and he's probably going to win this one. It'll be battle for Marshall, Bailey, and Carlson. Does for these guys, but Bailey again off the side of the circuit. Whether or not that's a different incident, I think it is a different incident. This is going down into 10A and 10B.
Ooh. This chicane is where he's been having the trouble. Oh dear, and he's not got back onto the circuit very well there either. Now we'll get back on, but yeah, it's been that final chicane where he's been having the trouble so far, unfortunately. And you can see the you can see the result of that now. Drops to third place, and he's some way off the back of the race. Well, we're nearly 15 minutes in, and we were saying before this race about how we never see any battles in LMP2, but we've had plenty of action from LMP2 so far already this afternoon. Yeah,
and now it's kind of all spread out a little bit, and unfortunately for us, it's going to be a well, it was a seat. Hopefully, the traffic will come back in together, of course, and these guys will be able to basically give us a little bit of battle to take shape with later on. But I think this could be. Well, who's going to be able to get their pit stops done and dusted, and who's going to be out on the other side, and that's where we're going to end up.
Yeah. Well, in this rest of the race, I would imagine you will probably be looking at GT3 the most. Michael Dion is currently leading ahead of Brad Tidwell, who is now just in front of Hayden Young. He's actually set his personal best lap time and round, but only getting 4 attempts on Tidwell. Gained 2 on Michael Dion. Tim Probert didn't barely get anything on Dion, and only 2 attempts on Tidwell. Lost a couple of attempts to Young, his teammate. So I imagine it is going to be those guys working their way through the field. But for the moment, certainly Probert has not been making his way through the field as quickly as what he did in last week's race.
Yeah, that's the thing. But then again, he's got Hayden Young in front of him. He's got, I don't want to say quicker. He's got, well, he has, to be blatantly honest, got a quicker driver in front of him. It's going to be tougher for him to try and keep up with. Whereas obviously last time Young was already gone and escaping, and then Probert come through all of the field that was left behind him. So for him, this is a bit of a harder challenge now. Not only has he got to keep up with Hayden Young, but he's also got to try and have a go at, getting past him. And we know that Mustang in the right hands has got some good old speed on it.
And there's a new fastest lap of the race for Van Roy, just over an hour to go, and I wonder how the LMP2s coming through here is going to affect things between these guys at the front of GT3. It's not only the guys who have to make the overtakes who are affected, but also those who are overtaken as well, as we know. So let's wait for that to happen in the next few moments. It's taking longer than I thought, to be honest. 15 minutes have already gone by, and they're still not there yet. So they're probably going to be lapped 2 or 3 times once again. I think we forget sometimes the gap between LMP2 and 3 in terms of speed is not that large.
Well, yeah, I said lap 3 or 4 and now on lap 12, so I got that completely wrong, didn't I? I'm the first to admit when I'm wrong.
Down.
Yeah, very, very wrong, but we'll find out how it's going to be. Where are they at the moment? Van Roy is catching up with Pernell Hanley. Probably another lap or so, maybe 2.
Yeah, turning to Hanno, it's not going to be that long. Probert, they're setting a new personal best as well, 19.8 for him, and that will get him just a little bit closer to Hayden Young. That is actually the closest battle in GT3 just for the moment, as the McLaren gets close to the Mustang. You don't actually get to see very much of Hayden Young off the start on his cold tyres in the Mustang, but I suppose it doesn't matter very much. When you're starting from the pit lane, you're always going to find yourself a long way back anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Hayden Young is just basically got to try and keep up. We said at the beginning of this about Bradley Tidwell and whether or not Tidwell on his day can be quick, but he didn't quite get the start that he wanted. He didn't get away as much as he wanted to, and he couldn't clear Dion. And Dion's now on his bike, but he has got the looming Young and Probert coming at him. So whether or not this is going to be a Young and Probert battle by the time they get through this, it'll be quite interesting to see.
It certainly will. It's going to be a much closer race in GT3 this time around than what it has been on a couple of occasions before, as Tidwell comes over the line again here. 1.2 seconds to Young. How much does it come down this time? 0.8 of a second. Not quite the lap that Tidwell needed, and not at all for Dion either. 21.4. There's the normal what he's been doing. Very consistent, I've got to say, from Tidwell. 0.6, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, but that 0.9 there, nearly a 121 actually. A little bit slower than before, and very unlike him, very inconsistent, which is a surprise when you look at those other laps.
But yeah, 126, as you say, 4, 5, 6, and then a 9. So clearly he was just a little bit off the boil over lap 12 there. That allowed Young to close back in. He's breaking into that second mark at the moment for Hayden Young. So we'll see how he gets on and whether or not when it's going to be. But you see Young and Probert swapping backwards and forwards. 2 Probert, you know, slower in 9, faster 10 or 11, slower in 12. So Probert is closing in, but it's not quite at the right knots that Tidwell and Young are coming together.
For the moment, look at that, down below a second now for the first time. Is now does have to go past Pernell Hanno, and so does Nicholas Marshall, just 2 seconds further behind, although immediately through the traffic he's caught behind into the chicane, and there you go, there's an even bigger gap for Devin Van Roy. As I say, I don't think he's going to be passed again unless we're in a pit stop cycle. I don't think he's going to be was seen very much again actually from the others either.
Nope. As Hanno goes off the side of the circuit, I think that's it for Marshall. He's now got to struggle, but it'd be how Van Roy handles these 3 guys up in front. It does look like he's catching them in a bit of a favourable spot, to be honest. Van Roy's at the top of the hill. These guys are at the bottom of the hill, so he's going to be coming in to maybe 10A again, where he might have a go over Probert here, which could affect there is Van Roy. So yeah, maybe down into 10 he might be having a go.
Let's see. Is that Mustang going to be fast enough in a straight line compared to the Lamborghini from that sort of distance? It might well be. There's a good enough exit there from Hayden Young by the looks of that. He's not going to get very much slipstream from that Lamborghini, as we know, but what about down on the brakes here? Is it going to be good enough here for Hayden Young? He gets right into the slipstream. Inside's going to be open here. Oh, he has a look, but he's not quite close enough. It would have been a real lunge for him, to be fair, and that's probably why he didn't go for it.
Yeah, but now look who's got coming back up behind him. He really wants to get this done before Van Roy gets there, and I've got a funny feeling Van Roy's going to get there first before he will, and it's now going to disrupt that. Tidwell might survive for a little bit here if he can, just by staying in front of Young going up into turn 3. Is he going to be able to do it? He is. Tidwell manages to defend his way in, but this is where now Van Roy's going to be in a situation. Does he go on the outside through 4 to run down these?
He's just going to be patient, and this is where races can change. Although, look at Marshall, he's stuck behind as well here, so that's not been great news for either of the LMP2s, and Van Roy's actually going to have the better of this on the exit, because he's going to clear it just in time for the... Oh, no, he's not. So they're both going to be equally stuck by this. Look at Tidwell staying on the inside there. He was wary of the LMP2 going right around the outside. GT3's on the right, LMP2's on the left. The battle for the lead is back again, and Hayden Young is right into the slipstream now of Brad Tidwell, who might even use some of the LMP2 slipstream, and there he goes, just after he goes past. Young uses the slipstream there from Nicholas Marshall just for a brief moment here to pull right alongside the Lamborghini, although he might have just done it a little bit too early here. Is he going to have enough on the brakes here? Tidwell late on the outside, and they're absolutely dead level. Oh, and there's contact! Contact between Tidwell and Hayden Young. Probert has to come to a stop to avoid them. That is going to take some working out between them. Young will get the place in the end after contact with Brad Tidwell.
Yeah, what happened here? Tidwell's got the overlap. Oh, he slid into him, didn't he?
Slid straight into him. Oh, and that is a real shame.
Yeah, I agree.
Suddenly, Probert is probably favourite in this race now. I know he's 13 seconds behind Michael Dion, but probably favourite here. And also, it's created a battle for the lead in LMP2 that has, unfortunately, not lasted very long here. The gap was 3 tenths at this time. Last lap, it's back to 1.1 again now.
Yeah, Dion now has got to just do one thing. He's got to put his head down. He's got to get on with it, and he's got to set quality laps after quality laps here. He has got a nice little buffer back to Probert at the moment. 13 seconds, and he's got to make the most of it. He cannot do anything stupid. If he don't need to do anything with the LMP2, just let him go, jump back in their slipstream and see if he can pick some speed up. But at the moment, this is all for Dion to lose in hindsight, because 13 seconds is still a big time, and 120.87 for Michael Dion. Probert on a 125, so obviously that's where the incident happened. It'll be this time around 128. What's Probert going to do as he comes over the line?
20.3. So there is the time gain. Some more of those 19.9s, that'd be helpful. Of course, that 15 there was when Probert had to come to a stop to avoid the 2 spinning in front of him. And he has now done that. Ben Roy again through traffic, having a bad run of things. I don't think he's doing anything particularly wrong out front, but he's just getting really bad luck through traffic. And Nicholas Marshall has got to make more of this here. He's got to get a bit closer on this straight, and he's got to maybe even try and get ahead of Ben Roy. It was clear once Ben Roy was behind somebody, he found it a bit more difficult to get back past them again as to what it was when he was in front of them, like he is now. But Marshall is just not close enough to get in front of him here.
Yeah, the problem is if he don't make the jump soon, he's never going to be able to. That's my fear. If he didn't get over Ben Roy soon, Ben Roy's going to run away with it, and I still fear that's going to happen.
I think it probably is. 0.6 of a second, nearly gained by Marshall that lap, but have a look at that. Through turn 1, immediately the gap goes to a second. Through the S's again, it's going to extend even further. And Roy has just put a lot more downforce on that car, and he's making good use of it now as well.
Yeah, he definitely seems to be. 1 second, back out again. Tidwell is back in. He's locked in a battle with Pernell Hanley here. So we'll see how he gets on, and whether or not Tidwell can clear Han out and move his way forward. We'll find out very, very shortly, I think, because it could be out of 5 down into 6.
Yeah. That's a bit wide for Han up there. Just runs a little bit in towards the grass. I can imagine Tidwell, though, will be back up into 4th position. Wonder what he'll be feeling at this stage, because I don't think he can point the finger at Hayden Young particularly. Can Tidwell? He just lost control of the car himself, but wonder what he'll be thinking at this position after that spin, after a big battle between those two.
It's not a lot he can sit back and think about, is he? He can just gonna have to get on with it and put his head down and keep going.
He is rather. That's what he's aiming to do here at the moment, trying to get past O'Hara, but he's not going to do it this time. That McLaren could be quite difficult to pass in a straight line as well. Seems to have the same genes as the 12C used to have in GT3, which is far and away the best car in a straight line in the GT3 category. seems to have carried some of that over in the McLaren, and it still holds a very good straight line speed indeed. And Tidwell not able to use his Lamborghini speed to get anywhere near him this time round.
Yeah, I don't think the Lamborghini's quite got the pace of the McLaren to be able to do that. He's going to have to try and wrap up right near him in 5, in through 6, 7, get him on the straight, but he's going to have to be a lot closer than 6 tenths. I think he probably doesn't really want to be any further than the 10th back, to be honest.
That could be difficult to achieve, though, getting that close in behind. We'll see whether they can manage it here as they come down now in towards 6 and 7 again. Tidwell just slightly up the curb there through 6, that's all fine. It's about the exit here, but yeah, he's not getting anywhere near close enough here. 6-7 tenths of a second is certainly not going to do it, nowhere near.
No, if anything, I'll be surprised if it don't go the other way at the moment. 7-3, 7-3, 5, it's peaking out a little bit. Still can't quite get there. Down the hill he goes, 7-2. He might close it now, but that McLaren has got some pace on him. But Tidwell's going to have a job on his hands here.
Yeah, he certainly is. Oh, yeah, it's a good point, because Pernod Hino's only 5 seconds behind Ed Young. I know he's had a spin, but so has Tidwell. And there's only 10 seconds or so behind Probert, and we're a third of the way through the race already here, so that is quite a long time. That might be why, by the way, we've already seen William Bailey into pit lane pretty much exactly on 1/3 distance here. Do I wonder whether he's splitting this race directly into 3, making 2 pit stops, because you do have to in LMP2, or whether something else is going on there. Should only be 1 stop required, though, in GT3, and that'll be in 10 minutes' time at halfway.
Yeah, it will be. Should be done there. As I say, Will Bailey's in. Van Roy's in, Marshall's in. That will release, well, Carlson's gone round, but I don't think he's going to be able to get there. There's the leaders there going in for theirs. Probert's there, Young's there, and we've still got Tidwell in behind Pernod Hinault, so we'll find out what Tidwell's going to be able to do, but he's just not close enough at the moment, Ewan. He's got half a second, and it's just not close enough for him to be able to get anywhere near a move. He's got to stay closer.
It must be really frustrating here between these two into the final corner. It's just or the final chicane rather. It's just a frustrating distance here for Tidwell, and you get the feeling he might need some traffic, but traffic's trying to actively avoid him at the moment. Van Roy and Marshall into the pit lane, although they might end up popping out straight behind these two in a moment. They will do. So Van Roy just comes out the pit lane now. He'll be on cold tyres, and it will take him a lap or two to actually catch these two because of that. And Carlson is going to go through here. He hasn't stopped, and so that's why he's up to second place. He might well be in the lead in a moment as well.
Yeah, if he can get Van...
Oh, never mind.
Not happening, unfortunately. Now they're all going to come up to this battle on Tidwell and Hinault. There's your leader in behind him. Scott Carlson pops over the hill. Down the other side they go. And now for Tidwell, he's going to have to try and... Yeah, he's still not close enough. I don't even know why I'm getting excited. He's not close enough to make this move at the moment.
The best chance he's had, though. Is this going to be good enough here? Quarter of a second. Wasn't a great exit from Hinault either there. He went a little bit wide, but has the Lamborghini got the legs here? And can he use Van Roy a little bit here? Because that LMP2 is going to be slow in the chicane. Oh, and Hinault there just pulls in front. He just pulls into the line of the Lamborghini. That was the best chance for Tidwell in a while, but he hasn't taken it this time.
No, and that from Hinault, he chopped his nose off. He was not allowing Tidwell through whatsoever there, and Hinault just went, I don't care if you're using it, I'm coming in to take it. And that is exactly what he did there. And for Tidwell, he's going to have to go again as Carlson's in pit lane.
Finally makes his stop after just under 30 minutes as Hinault goes for a big slide. Oh, he saved it on the S's. That was extraordinary. He must have clipped the grass or something. That was a big slide.
Yeah, that's brought Tidwell right into it. But now Tidwell, oh man, nearly had a multi-car crash.
The miscommunication.
On,
and now he's going to use that chance. He's going to use the LMP2 as a chance to go through. Here's Tidwell, but he's not going to get the exit. So Hannock's going to get just him in front, but he's going to get into the slipstream. He's going to try and pull back past him again here as they come down the straight. Or is he going to be able to put... Yeah, now he does. So that took a little bit of a while, and that might be the reason why he doesn't get through at the back end of the straight. But now he's in the slipstream. He's gaining a little bit more again here. Tidwell's got to be brave on the brakes, though, and so far in this race, he just hasn't really been.
Yeah, Michael Dionne's just gone past Carlson.
It was going around in the spin there. Crash.
Yeah, they did crash together. I'll show it. Sorry. I just wanted to see how... Where did Carlson's... Oh, he's there. So both of them crashed together, Hannah and Tidwell. So apologies. Oh, I saw somebody else crash. Stop it.
Sorry, I was watching as I was seeing somebody crash as well, but... There you go. Oh dear, bit of an awkward one, isn't it? Oh
yeah.
dear. It's very awkward. Awkward going on there. Dear me. Dear me.
To me, to you.
Well, they picked themselves out. Where did... so Tidwell got out in front eventually. I'm not sure where that pass would have happened, but they didn't bother coming in pit lane that time round. This is Carlson pit lane. Just keep with this just to see how he spun out the pit exit. I'd imagine this is classic cold tyre problems out of the pit lane. It's a very narrow pit exit here as well, which is a bit of a problem. But anyway, here he goes on the power, wide, trying to turn. Yep, slides his way through the grass, and hopefully Michael Dionne doesn't get involved.
No, it goes through there as well. A little bit awkward from that one, but yeah, cars starting to spread out a little bit now. David Van Rooij out in front by 5.6 seconds.
Yep. It's a good advantage for David Van Rooij, although again through this section, it's just not having much luck at all here down the hill through the S's, not at all. And he's going to have to just wait behind Tim Probert. The gap between Dionne and Probert is just about 7 seconds or so. And so Tim Probert is getting closer, definitely. It's getting further away from Hayden Young as well, but how late is he going to leave this? Is he going to leave it too late?
Well, how far... He's out in front at the moment, isn't he? Probert is ahead of Young. Young is just coming over the back of the hill. Both men pitted, or... the problem is...
I think anyone in GT3's pitted yet, other than Marc Ossier?
Yeah, none of them have at the moment. So, for Probert now, he's got to obviously make that decision. When is he going to go in? Is he going to go in? And how much time does he think he's going to get? Carlson's coming through, should effectively come through on Dionne without hitting him, if he can.
if at all possible. It's actually a pass for position, as you can see. But unfortunately, Carlson not quite able to replicate some of that speed he did show at times in the qualifying session. His fastest lap is only just under 4 seconds faster than these GT3s. And again, I mentioned it earlier, the difference actually between these two classes of car is just not that big. Here comes Carlson down the side again. You need to be decisive in these moments. Dionne will be saying, for heaven's sake, please get past me, because I'm giving you space all over the track here and you're just not passing me at the moment. Needs to be a bit more decisive, Carlson, and just get this GT3 behind him.
Yeah. There you go. Dionne's like, nope. Right across the other side of the track for Michael Dionne. He did not want to get involved in what was going to happen there whatsoever. Let's just hope Carlson could keep it on track and not do anything crazy, of course.
Oh, okay, that's fine. It was a bit wide there, Carlson. I thought he was going to go off the circuit, but David Van Rooij goes through and over the line to start another lap. We're about 4 minutes away from halfway. About 3 laps probably until those leaders come in for GT3. If they're trying to split it in half, that is. We'll see if they are. But Michael Dionne now only holds 5.5 seconds here. Not sure what the gap was when they actually got up into second and third there. I know Young and Probert were different ways around, but I wonder whether this gap coming down is enough right now for him to be there by the end.
Yeah, maybe. The problem is with this is I'd love to sit here and say it's going to be Young, it's going to be Probert, but both of them can be rapid on their days. So I wouldn't really want to put a number on who's going to go and take the win here and who's going to come out in front, because to be honest with you, neither of them can. And obviously we know Young's in the Mustangs, so that's going to be a bit of a new thing for him to try and contend with. But I don't really know who would come out on top after once they go through the pit lane here. And Tidwell's back up behind Hanaut again.
Could be interesting to see what happens here. Tidwell, meanwhile, is right in there now. I wonder if he made a mistake somewhere to let that happen. I know Hanaut was not actually very much slower than Tidwell at all. In fact, he actually looked a bit quicker at stages than Brad Tidwell there. But anyway, Michael Dion is into the pit lane, meanwhile, after only 35 minutes, which could be a concern. Here comes Tidwell, though, alongside the McLaren. Now, he's not going to get... Oh, well, no, he is going to pull alongside, actually. He has got a better exit here. Last time he made the mistake of not tucking back into slipstream early enough, but this time he's just got the good exit, which is just as good. Outside line and towards the chicane, he's returned back to 8th place overall.
Yeah, but the question will be for how long, and how long is it before Hanaut comes back at him again? Or, oh no, Hanaut's going to pull off in pit lane.
Yep, he is in, so that is going to be the end of that for now. I do wonder whether this is fuel related, though, or whether it's just tactical, because if Michael Dion is coming because of fuel, he's going to be coming into the pit lane with about 6 minutes left.
So 38 minutes?
7.5 is halfway.
Well, they should get there, though, shouldn't they?
I would have thought so, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. If Dion hasn't got there, but because of fuel, then that's going to be a real concern. He's going to have to stop twice, and Probert's going to carry on one more. That's all they need, by the way. Just one more lap, and they will definitely make it to halfway.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't just run it straight out. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fuel-saving master, but I'm just saying, me personally, I just want to run it out and go back in and fuel up. But clearly,
I think the reason this season in GT3 they're splitting it halfway, or trying to, because I actually expect these two to come in this lap, is because they want to try and even out the tyre wear as much as possible. It's not about fuel stopping at halfway, it's just about trying to keep the tyre wear as even as possible, because running the tank dry, you're going to end up with some really worn tyres at the end of the first stint and some tyres in the second stint that could probably have done them a few more laps.
Yeah, I get what you mean by that side of things, I think, just to see whether or not it is, you know, the tyre wear is going to cause a problem. Tidwell's in pit lane as well here, so he's come in. Michael Dion is, how far back from Eddie Young? 35 seconds. 54 lapped pit lane time. So we'll see how he goes there for Michael Dion, whether or not he can get past them. As you say, we do expect him in this lap. Tim Probert is going to be the signal figure. Is he going to come in? Nope. He carries on. Hayden Young. Young's in pit lane, so it'll be where Dion... Oh, blimey, he went in quite quick.
So, yeah, let's just keep an eye on Michael Dion here as he makes his way down the straight in towards the chicane. He's going to be looking for that position ahead of Hayden Young, and he should get it as well. If the wisdom is to be believed, then he should get it. 27 seconds in the box for Dion. It's just a little bit shorter than what Tidwell did, but maybe that's because he had to take on less fuel. We will find out. What is Young going to do here as Michael Dion comes through the final turn and over the line now with 36.5 minutes to go. Hayden Young is still stopped there. That is to be expected, but how long's the stop going to be? He should have another 5 seconds or so from when Dion passed him there, should Hayden Young, before he gets going, and it's almost exactly the same time. They're 100th of a second apart, those two, in terms of pit stop time. Absolutely nothing to choose between them. Don't think there is anything to be concerned about, to be honest, for Michael Dion. It's just a slightly surprise early pit stop.
Yeah, maybe, and then he's got to look at clearing Probert, but the question will be when Probert does pit, is he going to be, he's got to try and get past him, but then he's got to try and drive away from him, and that's kind of never easy. Probert's in now. It's roughly about the same place where Dion was on the track when Young went in, but it depends on whether or not what Probert's stop's going to be.
Yep, yeah. You'd imagine it's going to send him about 5 seconds behind Ewan, but let's wait and see as Michael Dion now makes his way down in towards the final chicane and should, as I say, retake the lead here. Down on the brakes now, and the only accurate in the race with that chicane, hoping for a good exit, or shaping for a good exit there up the hill. You need the traction. It's a long flat out section all the way to turn 1 where your momentum is important. Now, as I said, 27.5 the stop for Dion. About 3.5 tenths quicker for Tim Probert, but nowhere near quick enough to take the lead of the race yet. He's going to have to do it on the circuit.
Now, is he going to have the pace to stay with Michael Dion? What's Dion's gap going to be? We're going to give it a minute to settle down here, obviously, for these guys, because it's going to be a little bit iggly-piggly until Probert comes and settles in. He has got Ben Roy in behind him, so it's never a good opening coming out of pit lane straight into the Parfitt L2 P2, but that should be done before they get turned down into 6 and 7. It is done. Probert loses a little bit of time, about 5 seconds for Probert, and he's got about 7.5 seconds to Hayden Young.
Yep, indeed. It's a nice advantage for Dion, but can he hold on to it here? 35 minutes to go. In GT3, sorry, they're going to have about 28 laps to go. And so you already know at this stage of the race, you know, because there are so many laps to go and there is so much of time remaining. You know, only 2 tenths a lap would be enough for Probert to have plenty of time by the end of the race to actually get through. But it's later on in the race when you're still at 5 seconds or so with about 15 minutes to go when things get a little bit more difficult and you start to think a lot more about what margin you have and how much time you have to gain. Those obviously times are going to be way out of whack for the next few moments, but we'll see our first comparison between the two this time around, and you just wonder what the comparison is actually going to be here between these two, because as I say, Probert only needs a couple of attempts realistically for the rest of the race and he'll have enough time remaining.
Yeah, I think it'll be how does Dion handle being out in front, because let's face it, he hasn't been out in front for at all during this season. I'm sure he has been here before. What you said at the beginning really confused. I'm sure Dion has been here before in a Mustang, but anyway, is he going to be able to handle this pressure of going out in front here?
As I say, I don't always remember, so hard for me to know really. At this stage, I've got no idea whether he's really been here before or not. But anyway, never mind. We will maybe let him tell us at the end of the race if indeed he comes to join us for a bit of a chat. 3.5 seconds as he goes over the line. What was that lap time for Dion? 20.6, and that's a 19.6 from Probert. The only reason that's not the fastest lap of the race is because he must have got off track somewhere, but he's gained a second at least.
Dion's going to have his work cut out here. Dion is going to have his work cut out. He carries on the second a lap in 3 lap time. We're going to have a right little ding-dong for the lead, and that's still going to give us about 27 minutes left of track racing. So for poor old Michael Dion here, he's got to go at it. It's 2.8 now. It's coming down quite quickly. And for Dion, he needs to get on and give us them 119s he did at the beginning.
Absolutely. Back into that sort of region again. Another heavier on fuel, but Probert's managing it. Dion has got to as well. Doesn't look like he has been managing it so far in this part of the stint, though, which is a bit of a shame. Just over half an hour to go. And he's got to try at least, I think he is going to be caught at some point. He's just got to try and delay the point at which he's caught for as much as possible here. Because if he's caught now, for example, you're faced with half an hour of defending to try and win here. That's not very manageable. If he delays it by another 10, 15, 20 minutes, then suddenly the time remaining in the race becomes a bit more manageable.
Yeah, I think that's the thing for him. It's going to go over the line 126, 1.3 seconds. Oh dear.
Me.
Dear me. That's going to be that's going to come together very shortly.
Sorry, did you lose your voice then or something, or was that just on my end?
No, I don't think so.
It sounded like you had an engine failure in your voice.
Thanks, mate. No, I did not have an engine failure in my voice. I'm all good.
It sounds like it was internet in that case. Fine. I was a bit,
Engine
concerned.
failure.
It sounded horrendous. I didn't know what was going on in there. But no, it's fine, clearly. Anyway, 1.4 seconds last time round, and Probert still... Dion not able to find that speed. Here comes some of the LMP2s. That is Nicholas Marshall, first of all, past Dion. And in the background, keeping these two GT3s apart, will be Scott Carlson. And if he's as indecisive as he was earlier, then he's going to cost Probert time, and he will do, into that final chicane. He's just come down the inside there. And, he's gone off, I think, somewhere. Yeah, he has, through the chicane.
Yeah. We'll have a look back at that for Scott Carlson. Let's see what he got himself up to.
He turned across Probert, I think.
Yeah, but did he affect Probert? Oh, Jesus.
Oh, whoa, nearly.
Nearly got him. That would have been interesting.
Well, if he'd have lost a race because of that, Probert, he would have been very disappointed. But I think, unfortunately, that's kind of the race that Scott Carlson has been having this afternoon. He's just struggled in terms of, especially lapping cars. It's definitely a skill to it in these prototype cars when you are passing the GT3s. And unfortunately, Carlson has not quite got into the rhythm of that here today.
Yeah, definitely not at the moment. Carlson needs to do a little bit more there. But it's going to, for Dion here, he could, in a way, do with some help from Hannah, try and stay ahead. But we're going to find out whether or not he can here. That's going to be the question. Gap's back, what's it now, 1.1 seconds.
Yeah. It's a worry here for Dion. And he's going to go through on that fellow McLaren now as well as Tim Probert. 1.2 seconds. It managed to stay in the 19s there again here, and that is Hanno going a lap down. But Tim Probert is the one showing the speed here. I mean, I think we can say this is not Dion losing speed. I think he's doing the same speed as what he did in the first race. This is Probert going quicker than what he did before, in my opinion, because look at the gap to Hayden Young. Also out to 12.5 seconds. Probert is the one making the difference here.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's the one up in the pace, and I think he's the one who's just closing in on Dion. I think Dion's just got slow after the pit stop, and that's going to be the problem because he's now down to 8 tenths at the moment and 27 minutes to go.
And it is less than a second. How hard is Michael Dion going to fight here? You'd hope that he is going to fight for this properly, but you just never know, really. Because, if he wants to hold on to second, fighting with Probert is it's not going to be the best way to do it, because Young will catch up very quickly. Just misses the apexes a little bit there, does Dion as well. And Probert is really going to gain in now here. Just a quarter of a second as they cross the line. That McLaren already has the momentum down in towards turn number 1 here. Dion, though, does look at defending there. So 27 minutes to go is not a particularly manageable gap, but it does show that he is going to fight for it at least.
Yeah, Dion's going to try and put up the defences here as best as he can. Comes out through 3, down through the S's they go now for Michael Dion. How long is he going to hold on for him here? Is Dion going to be able to hold on? That's going to be the question. No! Is the answer.
Whoa! Saw Dion a little bit nervous, the car a bit twitchy over the top of the hill through turn 2 and 3 that lap. But there it is. That didn't last very long. Probert is through into the lead of this race. Expected, I'd said he was favourite for this race for a long time, even when he was down the field and a long way off the lead, but through surprisingly quickly, I would say.
Yeah, I don't think that was expected, but I think Dion there just caused himself, unfortunately, a little bit of problems. And, well, that was it. He just lost it at 5, didn't he? Too much, carried too much, and that was it. Shame,
It's
really.
a real shame. It's a real shame, unfortunately, for Michael Dion, who drops now to more than a second behind. And there's very little scope and very little chance, I think, that he's actually going to be able to overturn this margin again and come back again on Probert and re-overtake here. 21-1 last time for Probert. Unless he does that again in clear air, then I can't see Dion having much luck at this.
No, I think Probert's going to run away, and this could be a little bit of an extended gap. So, yeah, I think Dion White, he put up a good fight, but unfortunately just made that error that's cost him.
That is unfortunate for Michael Dion. Slides his way through turn 6. He is pushing, but sometimes the harder you push, the more it's likely to go wrong here. A little bit wide through turn 7. There you go, 1.8, 1.9. In the background, slides a little bit. He lost a lot of time to Brad Tidwell, hasn't he, Pernod Hannett here? And 56-second pit stop probably explains that.
Yeah, he's driving a little bit raggedy. I think he got a slowdown penalty there because it's a 1 minute 25.63 in the pit lane. His pit lane time was a 1:25. So I think, judging by the fact of the time there, I think there's probably a slowdown penalty involved with that one. So for Pernod Hannett, but at the moment, 24 minutes to go, and everybody's settled down just a little bit.
They certainly have. I think the likely ones to change now going to be between Dion and Young, but whether Hayden Young's got enough time to close 11 seconds, I'm not sure, to be honest. There's about a third of this race left now, and that is going to be 19 laps maybe for the GT3s, something rough like that, 18 laps. And so, you know, you're looking at more than half a second a lap there for Hayden Young, and it's not a very long lap. So 12 seconds, whatever it is, that is pretty close to too big, really, for Young to be able to close down in these last laps.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Young is good, but I don't think he's that good. But to be fair, he's taken that Mustang, he's got hold of it. He's doing Dion's slower over lap 37 by half a second, 1.9 on lap 36, but that was where Dion went off at turn number 5. So I think for Young, half a second, 23 minutes to go. 7, what's that, 7? No, he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna have enough time here. I'll be very surprised if he does even get anywhere close to him. How big a gain has he got this time? Over the line he's going to go here for Hayden Young. What sort of time's on the board at the moment? The Dion was quicker. Wow.
Half a second as well. So suddenly, not only have you got to sort of make up half a second to sort of undo that damage, but he's got to then gain more than half a second on per lap to actually start closing in. If it just taking 18 laps as a rough estimate, as I said, that's 2/3, 3/4 of a second a lap here for Hayden Young, and every time he loses time on a lap, that equation does just extend as well. So going to be very difficult for Hayden Young, as quick as he is, as he says. And of course, he's in a new car here, Young, so I'm sure he won't be too disappointed to finish on the podium anyway.
No, I think that's the thing, isn't it? He's taken what he's had in the Mustang and he's given it a good old go at driving it. He's kept it on track, which is always good, because that was one of the things he was worried about, and he's done well with it. And I think at the moment, for Hayden Young, he can sit back and go, actually, I drove the Mustang first time out, I put it on the podium, so I'm happy.
Yeah, exactly. He will be relatively pleased with how his day's gone. I wonder whether he'll use it in the future seasons or whether he'll just go back to the Porsche in the future.
Probably going over to the Porsche, I think, is going to give him the best possible chance for taking victories. I don't think he would stay in a car where he's not going to benefit from taking victories in, unless all of a sudden he'll be sitting back thinking, well, actually, I can go faster in this. Venroy's in the pit lane again. 21 minutes to go. We did expect the LMP2s to make 2, and the GT3 should be able to go to the end.
They should be. That's a little bit of a concern about Dion earlier on, because he made a slightly early pit stop, but it looks like there won't be any concerns about that, really. So Venroy and Marshall come into pit lane. So that 21 laps out there on the circuit, that end of lap 42 now. we're not going to do more than 63 laps, so they will be able to make it to the end of the race as well. They'll even be able to fuel up a little bit less than what they have before, because they are 4 minutes or so past the 1/3 to go mark in this race. But they split this race, the LMP2s, effectively into 3 25-minute pieces, because they are slightly limited on fuel compared to their normal tank size. Van Rooij comes out the pit lane like it's going to be a dominant win. It's often the joke, isn't it, in the classes, that each of these class drivers want Alfie Nichols to be in the other class. The LMP2s were sort of saying he can go to the other class if he wants, and GT3s are saying no, we don't really want him because he's just so quick and likely to win. But no, he's not here. Van Rooij has had the chance to win, as we suspected somebody else would have the chance to do.
Yeah, but Van Rooij, we kind of said at the beginning, if he got away, he would be gone. And he clearly has just done that for David Van Rooij. He's escaped out the front. We knew it was coming. As they said, if he got away, this race was going to be over, and it was going to be over, and it's over by 20 seconds. So for him, a great run, did what he had to do. I think, to be honest, is there going to be changes unless Van Rooij makes some disastrous mistakes, or all of a sudden a deluge of rain just comes hurtling down on the racetrack? I can't see Van Rooij losing this one, to be honest, Ewan. And Marshall, maybe with Bailey, could have had another little bit more of a battle, but they didn't manage to stay together. We know what problems Carlson's had in his own right here. So unfortunately for Scotty, he weren't quite able to stay with the likes of Bailey or Marshall. In fact, he's close to being lapped with Marshall here.
Oh yeah. Marshall is not. Where's? Carlson there's into the pit lane. There you go. So he's going to pull out the way, and well, he'll be fourth place even more. In fact, he'll really just get out in front of Probert by the looks of things. He's only 2.5 seconds in front of Michael Dion, by the way, but Dion's just made a mistake, and that's going to give Young the chance. It's through turn 5. About to see it here from Marshall's point of view. Dion picking himself up through the exit. In fact, we'll go to the replay. Here it is, so out of turn 5, and just gets over the curb into the gravel. Spins around. Oh, and it looks like he's hit the wall pretty hard as well.
Yeah, I'm going to try and go back and find that. Unfortunately, he disappeared behind the trees, which wasn't the most helpful thing. Very slow. Yeah, he did. He grabbed the front of the wall. I think the problem is he looked very out of sorts coming into this. This was the worrying thing. He already looked unsettled, and then all of a sudden he's just gone up over the hill, bang, straight into it. So Dion likely to have to come into pits. That's going to put Hayden Young right in behind him.
And damage as well for Dion. He's into the pit lane. He couldn't carry on for 17.5 minutes with the damage, clearly, and Young is going to get that second position. So where's Dion going to find himself now after that crash? It's a real shame. After leading for most of the race, he's going to have most laps led of anyone today in GT3, but what's the cost going to be? Unfortunately, he's dropped himself into the wall there through turn 5. We'll see whether Tidwell can gain a place as a result of that. Tidwell is just into the final chicane. He's been passed by Scott Carlson here on the, or indeed he's caught him up because he's on the cold tyres, but Dion hasn't stopped for very long. He's back out onto the circuit again. It's less than 17 minutes to go. He should hold that.
Yeah, it should do for Dion now, unless he does another one of them, which he really does not and cannot afford to do here. Turn 5 has not been his friend at all, but we did say either stay off the curb or get on the curb. Don't take half and half. And you clearly see what the situation was when he went to go forward. He just hit the curb and around he goes, and that was the end of that with 16 minutes to go. And now it's all about whether or not, I don't think Young's going to get near Probert. I think Probert is probably going to wrap this win up, as is David Van Rooij.
Gap's growing, if anything, to Young, actually. 17 seconds. The personal best from Probert last time around. It's got to be in the 17.9. Well, the wrong way around. 19.7, sorry. And that was 1.1 seconds quicker than Hayden Young. Not sure whether Young will use the Mustang again, really. It's a much, much different car to the Porsche. And while he'll be pleased to finish in second place, it was in the Porsche. He might be able to give Parfitt a bit more of a run for his money here this afternoon.
Yeah, but it's all trial and error. It's a fun season, isn't it? You know, I mean, looking at they will be going, as far as they're going back to a traditional GT3 season next season, possibly looking maybe starting in mid-July. And I think, you know, this is going to be one of these test seasons where they can sit back and go, did it work? Maybe not, but we had a go. And for Hayden Young as well, it's good experience to get used to driving another car. You know how it handles, you know what it does, and you should, when you come up to overtake it or go near it, you should know how it's going to run, because that's the thing. Drive as many cars as you can.
Yep. Well, into final chicane. I think Young has certainly learned that here this time round. I think it is a good experience to generally have. Just problem is in this sim you have to buy all of them. There's a bit of a palaver, but anyway. I wonder what... are there any more GT3s in this new update coming up that you can try?
I really hope not.
I don't think I've seen anything for cars or tracks-wise for this release yet. It's not been released.
I really hope not.
Got no idea.
They're gonna, did you hear, though, that they were talking about bringing out a new TCR?
Nope.
No, that's neither did I.
I heard you talking about it, but that's not the same.
Yeah. So new tracks.
Hang on.
Shell V Power Motorsport Park, known as the Bend in South Australia.
Oh, nice.
The Bend hosts.
That's good.
Yeah. That's all going on. Rescanned and remodeled Iowa, Richmond, Sonoma, Laguna, Charlotte Motor Speedway, and North Wilkesboro. As well. Refreshed and upgraded tracks. COTA, Darlington, Daytona, Indy, Lime Rock Park, Phoenix, Texas, and many more. Cars. Let's have a look. We're thrilled to offer the visually stunning and thrilling to drive the Ferrari 296 Challenge. The 296 is one of the fastest single make series customer racing cars ever. Apparently, that's coming out at the same time.
That's like a not like a GT3. It's like the Ferrari Challenge car basically. It's not quite a GT3, but it is based on the Ferrari 296 GT3 car. It's not the same.
Yeah, Gen 4 Cup cars will be raced in our Gen 4 Cup series, taking the current place of the current Gen 4 car.
Hey,
the Gen 4 Cup cars will be raced in our Gen 4 Cup series, taking the place of the current Gen 4 car. The series is raced at the sea level. While that covers our new cars, we're only getting started. Let's explore the car and car class overhaul.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, I misunderstood that. So they're adding a Chevy and a Ford to the Gen 4 Cup cars.
Monte Carlo, the 2003 Chevrolet Monte Carlo and the 2003 Ford Taurus. Apparently. So that's replacing the current one. So I'm going to have to buy a new car. Maybe.
I like the Gen 4 series. Yeah, I have to buy a new one. There you go.
Okay. Gen 7 NASCAR Cup has also got a significant overhaul. Features latest release, ready tyre, first debut to GTP, and improved aerodynamics to bring the car closer to how teams now have the cars operating. Apparently. But yeah. Lotus 7's going to get rain tyre, or the Lotus 79 is going to get rain tyres apparently.
So it's a super formula.
Yeah, F4 will receive a full dry and wet tyre rework. BMW M4 G82 GT4 has been upgraded to the Evo version as well. So yeah, that's about it. And there's some other improvements visually on stuff. They've got their own new overlay series. The following updates provided in an abbreviated format as we spend a great deal to focus on Season 3, and there'll be plenty of opportunities to share more soon. UI design has been changing as well. Yeah, so I don't have time to obviously read through all of it. Well, to be fair, I probably could have done. But, yeah, there you go. Listen to this. the car team is working on many interesting projects, including exciting additions to GT3, GT4, and GTP. Well, there you go. You might as well just call the game Le Mans Ultimate and have done with it.
Are there any more GT4s that are not in the game?
Oh, I have no idea. Clearly, GT3s, GT4s, and GTPs. Well, why not? Just call it LMU and have done with it. Oh my God. Forget everything else. Don't you worry about it. No TCRs, WRX.
Nobody's going to buy a new TCR, James.
Who's going to care? Oh. Well, guys, welcome into LMU. It's ridiculous.
I'm fine with that as we
yeah,
go.
Of course you're going to be, because this is it.
But whatever.
Oh, let me know, YouTube, or down in the comments below, what cars you think we should have here other than more GT3s and GTPs and GTPs or GT4s. Give me anything.
Don't say a TCR, sorry.
But we're also, hold on, so close to having a date we need to enhance and extend our dirt road car offering. Well, there we go.
Rallycross, isn't it?
Dirt road car, yeah, WRX, isn't it?
There you go. You were calling for that recently. There you go.
I know. That's because none of them actually work anymore.
Well, I haven't researched that actually. I don't know whether that's true or not, but it has been a while since we've had some new rallycross cars. So there you go. You asked for it, and they've delivered a. Well, they're going to give you a new one.
We'll see.
Yes.
But there we go. That's basically it at the moment of what's going on inside iRacing.
Yeah, I hadn't seen these new notes, so there you go.
Do you want me to? I'd send you the link. You can have a look at it.
Reading it as well while you were.
Oh, okay. So you found it then.
I found it as well. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
So I just didn't know it had been released yet, to be honest. But there you go. So now I know. Yeah, there we go. So we'll see another GT3 on this grid at some point. This is especially season 2 of this Coffee Cup. It's one of the best series that we do, in my opinion. One of the most that I enjoy anyway. Partly why is because you get so much variety in GT3 with so many drivers on the field and so many different cars.
Yeah, look, dude, I agree with you, right? And I think, yeah, why not? Let's have another car and another one and another one and another one. But there is so many other series that could do with stuff. There's so many other things that they could do. Why not put your head together and see if you can get, I don't know, a Formula Reeds or something. I don't know. There's so much more they could do with it. And I just sit back and I think GT3, GTP, GT3, GTP. And that's it. And it's, yeah, I don't know.
Of course, the problem with Formula 8 specifically would be that the circuits that we use are not the same in any way. But yeah, I get that. Some people will want different things and a completely new category, I suppose. Michael Dion, by the way, has just lost loads of time somewhere out there on the circuit. He's just come over the line now with 7 minutes to go. David Van Rooij is just about halfway through another lap, but Dion last lap did a 1:35. He must have made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, I can't actually see. It hasn't shown up that he's done anything here as well. Maybe he just might have ran wide and that was it. But nothing at the moment is showing up. The last incident he had was on lap 42 and we're in 53, so a long way away.
It must have been on this last lap that he had trouble though, and now he's got Brad Tidwell right behind him again. So Tidwell's battle with Hannah was one we were watching throughout the middle of the race primarily, but towards the end of the race it's going to be Dion versus Tidwell by the looks of things that we're going to be having a look at and we're going to be following in on, because Dion has got to try and hold on to a podium here, and he's not going to. He's well, we're not going to see it, but yeah. Oh, he's out of turn 7. He's done it. That's a strange place to do it. But Dion is going to try and come back again. I wonder whether he's hit the wall again somewhere. Got a crumpled front nose, and he's not getting anywhere in a straight line. And Tidwell looks like he will steal this podium after all.
Yeah, I think Dion's still broken. I think that's probably not going to help the situation here for Michael Dion. He's gone back underneath Tidwell though, so these guys could have a quite good little fight. Carson's in pit lane. Whoa!
What's going on there?
he come around the final corner, didn't want to run into Tidwell, and then put his basically...
Oh dear, he's gone straight off. Why was Tidwell so slow is sort of where most of my confusion is coming from with that one. But anyway, into the first sector, and Tidwell now does have a second. He's got 5.5 minutes to hold on to this, and well, it's comfortable for the moment.
Yeah, it is for Tidwell. Dion's trying. You can see him throwing that car around now. The problem is the harder he tries, the looser he gets, and it comes to overdriving the car with 5 minutes to go here. I think he's going to be really, he's got to settle it back down and try and pick up the pace like he did in the first time, because if he doesn't, well, he's going to be in trouble. So I think for Dion, he's got to settle back down again.
For 1 second, he hasn't got much time to regather himself here and come back through again as through goes Marshall, as Carlson, sorry, to the chicane, just in front of Dion as well. It's going to cost him a couple of tenths of a second. Now he's going to hope that he sort of always gets in the way of Tidwell if at all possible. Obviously, he's not going to try and do that, but might well just end up doing that as he passes him. Now in towards turn number 1. Is that going to be comfortable? Tidwell's going to have to leave the room there, and that will just lose him a little bit of speed. Carlson will get through, but Dion will gain because of that 6 tenths of a second. That's exactly what he needed.
Yeah, he definitely did. He needed Carlson to hold him up a little bit, but now for Dion, he's got to make sure he can bury turn 5, because at the moment he is not getting this right whatsoever. So for Michael Dion, big moment now. Is he going to be able to challenge and go forward with Tidwell, or is he going to end up losing it?
Suddenly, he's got a new lease of life here as Ben Roy goes over the line, by the way. It's going to be 3 laps to go, or maybe 4 actually, as he crosses with 4 minutes remaining. Not sure he's going to pass these guys again though, so they might have 4 laps after this go. And Tidwell gets into the grass, he slides, and now Dion is back through again.
Yeah, these guys are going to continue to fight right to the end, I think. You can see David Ben Roy on his way round turn 5, on his one down into 6. Tidwell still tucked in here, currently behind Michael Dion. This is going to be a battle for the final podium spot, held by Michael Dion here, and Dion's going to have to try and hold on. Tidwell's not going to give up though.
Oh, another big slide there out of the final chicane, a little bit in the grass, but it was already sliding before then, and now the roles have been reversed completely effectively. This time 1 lap ago, the gap had just extended to nearly a second, and it was a bit of traffic for Tidwell that allowed Dion to get back into the game. But well, right now Tidwell needs that to happen to Michael Dion, because that gap is very, very big and he's not got much time to bring it back again.
No, he definitely hasn't. He's got 2 minutes 56. Where is Ben Roy at this moment in time on his way round? Here as well, 1:13 lap time, so it's going to be about another 3 laps here. Tidwell goes out to about a second, and unfortunately for him, it's looking like that's going to be it for Bradley Tidwell.
Let's see. This is the line again. It doesn't look like he's slowing down at all, and so he will have 3 laps to go, including the one he's got at the moment, and maybe just another 1 more lapped car. I think it's Tim Probert actually who is next in line for him, as he aims to try and lap the whole field for a 3rd time. Would be Probert will be going a 3rd lap down here this afternoon. It's been comfortable for Ben Roy. I think we were maybe a bit surprised in the first 15 minutes how much pressure he came under and how much was going on, but since then Ben Roy has really been comfortable here.
Yeah, we knew it. As we said right at the beginning, as soon as he gets him gone and moves away from him, it's going to be all done, and Ben Roy's proven that. You know, he can back right off now. He can make this one the last lap if he really wanted to.
Yep, he could, but he doesn't show any interest in slowing down here by the looks of it. He wants to continue on. Sometimes these drivers don't realise, to be fair. I do find in our racing it's quite hard to figure out how long there is to go, because you've got to fiddle around with the relative box, for want of a better phrase. But yeah, if you're not fiddling around with that and you're not looking at that as you go over the line, then I guess you simply don't know how many laps you have to go. You just sort of get very surprised by when the white flag comes out and you realise that's the end of the race. Sometimes it's pretty difficult to tell.
That's the thing, and sometimes we've been so close to knowing when the end of the race we think is, and then it turns out that it wasn't. It was the lap that we're on or something. So for these guys, they're in the same boat. Tidwell and Dion are still running side by side once more.
Through again. Tidwell up to third, but Dion is on the outside line, and he's going to give him a lot of space there. Tidwell parks it up in the apex there, and he just makes sure that Ewan is not going to come past him. Oh, hello. Just a little bit of a slide under the bridge, and now through the final corner on to the start-finish line again. 30 seconds to go for them. Ben Roy is going to come across the line again. He's not going to lap these two, though, and so they are starting 2 laps to go, even with 30 seconds remaining. 2 laps for Tidwell to hang on. There is Ben Roy starting 1 more lap.
Yeah, last lap, final lap of the race. He didn't have to start that. He, as I said, he had plenty of time to slow down and let these guys go through, and that's it. But for Michael Dion, he's still got 1 more to go at Tidwell.
Oh, hello, a little bit wide. Dion just loses that within a half-second advantage there that he'll get a lot of slipstream from. Maybe 60 laps here, by the way, exactly on the dot for David Van Rooij. As now through turn 7. And Dion come 4 tenths and a half. It's going to just come down steadily here. Is it going to be close enough into the final chicane? Is he going to want to get through here, or is he going to put it all on the last lap? Will he be forced to? He might well be. He's not that close here. He knows what kind of distance he's got to be behind, because 5 tenths behind wasn't close enough that time.
No, it definitely wasn't, but he's going to have to try. This is so risky, leaving this to the final lap. I've got to be honest.
I don't think it was intentional, to be honest, but there you go. It is how it's ended up. For David Van Rooij, though, it's been a great race victory here. He has won in LMP2 by nearly 40 seconds in the end. Road Atlanta in the OGRL Coffee Cup goes to him. David Van Rooij with a comfortable victory. In just up ahead of him, by the way, Tim Probert managed to stay on lap ahead of the rest. So he's going to win GT3 with accredited a lap more than everybody else, ahead of Hayden Young and the rest. Who's going to finish third, though? Is it going to be Tidwell or Dion? Out of turn 5, Dion really close. This is where he needs to be close, but he's just backing off a little bit, backing away. And 5 tenths wasn't close enough last lap. He's had no choice but to leave it to the last lap. I'm afraid this has not gone particularly well. Through turn 7, gap 5 tenths. I'm not sure he's close enough.
No, I don't think he is either, to be honest. I think he's not going to be able to get him. I'd be very surprised if he couldn't even get close. You can see Tidwell weaving all over the circuit. The only way Dion's going to be able to get this is jump the chicane and hope he can get the slowdown off, because otherwise he's going to be where he is in 4th place at the moment after leading this race.
Oh, close. Gave it a go, and it's a bit of a shame for Dion, really, that he's going to finish off the podium, but that's the way it's ended up. Tidwell 3rd, Dion 4th. In the background, Tim Probert is going to win here again. Started from the pit lane and came through the field expertly, put the pressure onto Michael Dion, who eventually made 2 pretty costly mistakes through turn 5. And Tim Probert has taken the victory in GT3 in the end. A great victory as well for him. Well, that is it for this round of the championship. Have a look at the race results. David Van Rooij wins by 40 seconds in the end of Nicholas Marshall. William Bailey 1 lap down and Scott Carlson 2 down. Tim Probert wins in GT3, just staying in front of Van Rooij before the line there, with Hayden Young finishing 2nd, and Brad Tidwell and Michael Dion battling away for 3rd, as we saw. Pano Hanno, Mike Ossier and Cody Pont round at the field. Of course, Pont not doing most of the latter portion of the race. Let's have a chat to Hayden Young now then, shall we? 2nd place in the race this afternoon. Welcome in, Hayden. Good to have you with us. How was your experiment with the Mustang this afternoon?
Yeah, that was difficult. Yeah, I've kept it in the right way, but yeah, the temperatures in this thing are awful. It's just so slidey. Low temperatures, it's really quick. I love it, but yeah, in the higher stuff, not so fun.
How was it, race? We saw your incident. We've just seen a replay of your incident here, by the way, with Brad Tidwell. It was a great battle, though, before that, between yourself and Brad, and also Tim Probert as well. 3 different manufacturers going up against each other. How was it how was it interacting with the other cars, especially on the straights and in the corners?
Yeah, it's got some go on it on the straights there, but it's Brad just made a small mistake. There was nothing in it there. There was just a wobble. He said sorry, and yeah, I mean, I'm all right with that. It was all good, and yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I never was going to catch Tim in the McLaren there. He was too quick. He was too quick in that.
Yeah, it was Well, it was a very, very quick pace from him today. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming to have a chat with us, though, Hayden. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, good shout out to Tim. He's the reason I'm so quick, to be honest. Like I say, we're on the same team. I've got a 6-hour race with him. Literally, as soon as I leave here, we're going into a 6-hour race at Spa, and then we're doing the OGRL and Tanso tonight. Is it the thingy? We're going to have a go at that.
What, in the fun race multi-class?
Yeah. Me and Tim will do that.
Oh, nice.
We're going to do that, yeah. So yeah, we've got a busy day. So,
well, you better go, mate, because it goes live at 8 o'clock.
I know. I won't be there. It doesn't thingy till 9, so I might not qualify, and because I won't be there till like 9 o'clock. So yeah, we'll sort it. Anyway, yeah, I'll shout out to Tim, shout out to everyone watching, and you guys, absolute fantastic job.
Thanks very much, Hayden. Good luck with your racing later on. There's a lot of it, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Afternoon.
Thanks very much. Hayden Young there chatting to us at the end of this afternoon's racing, finishing second in GT3. At first, though, overall was David Venroy, who's come to chat with us now as well. David, congratulations on the race win this afternoon. This morning. It was a close race to begin with, I've got to say, between yourself and William Bailey and Nicholas Marshall as well. But eventually, you were able to pull away. How was that race for you?
It was really good. Yeah, I was very scared initially. I'll be honest with you. I thought William had a little bit in his tank there, and I was like, this is going to be a little harder than I thought. And he had me, keeping me at bay for the first few laps. And consistency, he's almost there. He's right on the edge of having that. So yeah, no, feel good about it. But yeah, I was worried for sure.
Did you have a lot more downforce on than the others, or did you suspect as much? Because it seemed to me like once you were in front, it was fine, but you did struggle to get past once or twice.
Yeah, I think I had probably a little bit more downforce than I needed to. It was just coming out of the turns, just wasn't getting quite the traction and stuff that I wanted to get initially. And the setup was basically didn't let the car come in to its fastest until you get to lap 5 or 6. It's just kind of the way that it seemed to work out. So by that time, I was able to get around them, and then the car was there, and it was rock solid after that.
Well, congratulations on taking the win this morning, David. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, a couple of things. William Bailey put the setup together for me. Great job, William, and I appreciate your help with that. My son is visiting today for Memorial Day. He's also in the military, so real proud of all the stuff that he's doing, and I want to say hi to him. And then today, of course, is Memorial Day here in the United States, and so special thanks for everybody that have sacrificed so that we can spend time together racing in our sim rigs here whenever we want. So those freedoms and stuff don't come easily. So shout out to all those people as well. Absolutely.
Thanks so much for coming to have a chat with us this morning, David. And I'm sure go and enjoy the rest of your day. I'm sure you'll have a lot on. Thanks very much for chatting to us.
You got it. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate all your work.
Thanks very much. David Venroy there chatting to us at the end of the race this morning in the OGRL Coffee Cup. Well, I think that was a good race here at Road Atlanta. Again, it was GT3 providing the entertainment, as we so often see, but there was even a bit of LMP2 action at the start as well, as we were just talking about there.
Yeah, it was a good kick-off, to be honest with you as well. And we'll see what happens next week. I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun. We'll see how it goes.
We will final race of the season coming up in 7 days' time at Mugello, so hope you can join us for that then. But for now, this has been the OGRL Coffee Cup here from Road Atlanta. I've been Ewan alongside James Parfitt. Until we see you next week at Mugello, it's goodbye for now.